You're listening to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. Comics, television, movies, and more. If it impacts fan culture, we have something to say about it. And now, your hosts, Jordan, Cliff, and Seth.
How's everybody doing out there? Welcome back to the next episode of Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. My name is Jordan Lowe.
I'm Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth.
We are burning the midnight oil tonight. Guys, I have an anecdote.
All right.
Well, otherwise I would not have known, so I'm glad you said it.
That's exactly why I said that. We missed a week recording just for a few weeks ago by the time this comes out. I don't know how to put it. I don't want to say it's an excuse that we missed it, but I had 2 deaths in the family. My grandfather passed away, and he was 94 years old and, lived a long life, was in World War II and all that stuff. And exactly a week after that, on my mom's side, my grandmother passed away. She lived down in Florida, and she was 85 and a veteran also. But Michael and I, this was our grandmother, we had to make a quick trip to Florida. And
road trip.
So long-time listeners of the podcast might remember a human being named Michael.
Yes.
He was illustrious, I think he
Something
called himself.
like that.
So.
A human being?
Yeah, we used to have 4 human beings on this podcast. But one couldn't cut it, so what's the NWA lyric?
I'm afraid to guess one.
One couldn't cut it, so now we're a trio. Or what? Yeah, there's some lyric, Ice Cube, it was the whole thing. Michael's the Ice Cube in this situation.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this was too somber of an anecdote.
No.
I'm apologizing.
No.
Very late at night.
Yeah, very late at night. But no, we had to go down for the funeral. So we decided it had to be a very quick trip. So we were gonna drive down, and I got a hotel that night. And then we were going to go do the family stuff and the funeral stuff. And then we were going to turn right around and come right back to Ohio. So we had about a 13, 14-hour drive on our way. And it was good, though. Michael and I hadn't, we're busy. We're all busy. We have lives and stuff like that. And we don't get to spend as much time as we used to, back when he was podcasting and stuff like that. So I was like, well, this will be cool, whatever. So we have a nice drive down. My mom, she was in the back seat. She came down with us, and we got down to Florida. And
started with 5, and one couldn't take it. So now there's 4 because the 5th couldn't make it. The number's even. Now I'm leaving. We're never getting took by a Michael with a weaving.
So we get down to Florida, and we found a nice restaurant to have dinner at, and then we hit the hotel, and that was it. We were out. It was a long drive. But the next morning we got up and we had to check out of the hotel, and we're all dressed, ready to go to the funeral and services and stuff. And we're in Michael's car. Michael's driving, and where we had parked the car was basically towards one end of the parking lot, and right next to us is an exit to that said parking lot. So Michael backs up, just like normal. We know where we're going. Funeral home's right down the road. And I look over, and all the way down at the end of the parking lot, there's a guy. And he's a big dude, white guy, very tall, lanky, and he's waving and jumping up and down like crazy. And I made the comment, and I'm like, what is up with this guy? And all we had to do was just turn and exit the parking lot.
But then you'd never know.
But Michael, being Michael, focused in immediately. And I could see it, a little switch in his head, like, what's that about? And the car starts moving forward in a straight line instead of turning to exit. And I'm like, and I say to him, don't you do it. Don't What are you... Why? But Michael being Michael, he has this thing in his head like he thinks he can help somebody out.
He wants to save the world.
Right. So here we are. We roll up. And next thing I know, before I can say any more, his window's down. The guy's...
I guarantee this person's worse off by the time this is over.
Yeah. Well, I don't... He's hanging in the car. Great big guy. He's got an army hat on. And I don't mean like a standard issue military cap. I mean like a hat you would buy at like Walmart or Dollar General that just says Army on it. And he leans over and he goes, hey. And he pulls his shirt down, his t-shirt, way down. And he's got, his chest is all tattooed. And he goes, to pull it down to show us, he goes, I'm Army. And we're like, great.
Right.
Great. And he
Could
says,
just tipped your cap, sir.
That's my brother over there. That's my truck. He goes, we're out of gas. You think you could help us out? And before Michael can
Sounds like a racket.
Yeah, exactly. It's always that, right? Before Michael can get another word out, I'm like, we're going to a funeral. He's like, oh, well, I'm really sorry. But do you have a gas can with some gas in it? And Michael's like, and I'm like, no, we're going to a funeral. He's like, well, you got some money or something, you could help us out and get some gas. And by this time, I'm like, go. Roll up your freaking window and get out of here before we get murdered. So, yeah. Michael almost got me murdered in Florida. Going to a funeral. By some faux army giant man with a tattooed chest that just said Army on it.
You can't just get a tattoo.
No.
There's got to be regulations about that.
I'm sure that they made sure.
I was just like, this. I hadn't had the experience of him for a while.
That's what it's like.
And that was, I was like,
what trouble could I get my life into?
Yeah. Are there bad decisions to be made here?
See, I assumed when he said he rolled his window down, his wallet would have been out already.
Yeah,
just handing over whatever he had. But
yeah, so other than that, the trip was good.
Did you have time to visit the fabled toy mines of Florida?
Boy, I really wanted to. I was teasing him. I was like, Michael, I brought some notebook paper. We can make some tools out. Maybe go on a search for a Michael Knight figure, like whatever. Because Michael was really excited. He's like, I haven't been to Florida since I was like 13 years old. I was like, great, let's go. And I got up that morning for the funeral. We were 66 miles from the Magic Kingdom exactly. And I would have loved to have had a little bit more time, and we could have done something more, but it just wasn't in the cards.
Man, that's kind of crazy that you were down there and didn't go to Disney.
It was crazy. And my grandmother, she loved Walt Disney World. We used to go every year. They had a big RV. We'd drive down to Florida and camp at Fort Wilderness, and she loved Epcot Center. That was her favorite. So back then, before the studios opened and one time I remember we were that first trip to MGM Studios, and we were right in front of the Chinese theater. My grandmother, she got all excited, and I didn't know what was going on, and because the park was like empty, and look over, and right across from us stood Donny Osmond, and she was all excited.
A little bit of rock and roll.
Yeah, she got her picture taken with Donny Osmond that year. She was really excited about that. So,
heck yeah. Oh my god!
Condolences to you.
Yeah.
It's the podcast comes second to the life event, so we hope the fans weren't too put out by a slight,
I'm sure they
slight
were.
delay.
There were some upset Jessies out there that week. So
yeah.
So we're right in smack dab in the Comic-Con season. We've just had San Diego. We've had a whole lot of news come out. We'll never be able to cover it all, so we'll try to get you a little bit. You'll start with TV.
Hello, Dolores.
What the hell is a sticky maple?
Run, Barry, run! That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
Go get him, Supergirl.
Well, what does this guy look like, anyway?
Oh, he's a little guy, kind of funny looking.
Uh-huh. In what way?
Oh, just in a general kind of way.
Exterminate!
Little pig, little pig! Let me in.
These violent delights have violent ends.
That's what she said.
Well, this actually came out well before Comic-Con, but we haven't had a chance to go over it yet. CW released its fall schedule, so we know what nights of the week all our favorite CW shows are going to be on. Except for Legends of Tomorrow. It was announced it's renewed for a 5th season, but they haven't announced when it's coming back. I assume it's going to be the mid-season replacement like it was last year.
Yeah.
They won't have as many episodes. But Sunday, October 6th, 8 p.m. Batwoman, 9 p.m. Supergirl. So Sunday night's going to be the girl power, 2 hours.
We're going to get Supergirl in pants.
I'm wearing pants.
Just getting some pants.
I knew do as well. We're rocking the bangs.
Yeah. New look, new pants. Yeah. No Jimmy.
No sexy James Olsen.
We gotta get it.
James Olsen.
So old Jimmy, he's going away.
James Olsen.
There's a big cast on that show. It's fine. They could lose the couple. And it said, what's his name? Wynn is coming back, so he's going to replace. Wynn does not make up for sexy James. Sorry. Yeah. It's going to drop the sexiness quota by quite a margin.
Yeah, I'm going to be really sad. Yeah.
I read books and work out.
I'm going to be really sad when we can't play that bumper anymore.
James.
Whatever, never stop.
All right, so Sunday. That's the Sunday lineup. Tuesday, October 8th, 8 o'clock, The Flash. That's on its own night. Wednesday, 8 o'clock, Riverdale. October 9th. You have until then before we get back to what's really important. 4th season of Riverdale. So the week after that, Tuesday, October 15th at 9 is Arrow. So
Final season.
Flash premieres a week before. So on normal Tuesdays, 8 o'clock Flash, 9 o'clock Arrow. And then the week after that, October 21st, Monday at 9, Black Lightning. So it's basically Sunday, Batwoman, Supergirl, Monday, Black Lightning, Tuesday, Flash, Arrow, Wednesday, Riverdale. So,
yep,
a lot of ground for us to cover,
and some Legends in there somewhere.
And then Legends coming in at some point.
Did you guys see Brandon Routh is going to reprise his Superman role?
Did you
in
see
Infinite Crisis?
There's a lot of new Burt Ward.
Yeah, Burt Ward.
I saw several things like that. So it looks like Crisis is going to have a multiverse. They're going to bring in people.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, I think he's the Brandon Routh Superman is going to be the Superman they said from Kingdom Come.
Oh.
So I was like, well, that's pretty cool.
Interesting.
So, yeah. CW.
Any TV there, Seth?
Big Brother's back, baby!
Whoa! What Mr. Teasley's been waiting to hear.
Oh, man. Season 21.
Oh, my gosh.
That's right.
Tom Green?
No, that's Celebrity Big Brother.
I'm out. No celebrities.
That's
it. You lost me.
Yeah, back to a all-new cast.
I'd say you and Jared were really... The other night we went to trivia, and there was some heated, like there's some problems with this season. It sounded like you guys were having some issues.
We were having some issues. I will say that there's a glimmer of hope. His name's Cliff Hogg. You can call him boss, he said. There's a guy who's a super fan. I think he's like 53, which it's always bad to be the old guy in there because they usually like to get you out of there right away. It's hard to fit in, but somehow he escaped the first week, and he's making a comeback. But they what we were complaining about, they try to up their diversity by putting in some people of color, which is great. Problem is they don't do enough of it, so they're still in the minority. And I've always said the best seasons of Big Brother have no twists. The game itself is a classic. They have a perfect formula. If they don't mess with it, a lot of different things can happen, but they throw twists in that force things to happen, force people to team up, to create large alliances, and stay in them. They've created this thing where the camp comeback, where the first 3 people that were voted out of the game stayed in the house. And by doing that, you never want to blindside anybody in your own big alliance, because they're still going to be in the house and you have to deal with them. So instead, you vote out the outcasts, the minorities. It was quite... Also, with this twist, they put them in Cub Scout uniforms, because it's kind of a camp theme. Put them in Cub Scout uniforms. Banish them to the upstairs of the house in a garbage room. What do you think kind of picture we're painting here, Jordan?
Problematic one?
Yeah. It was quite a scene this past Thursday night when all 3 of them were evicted from the house at once when this twist was over. And they had all of these people of color sitting there with Julie Chen. And you could tell she wanted to talk about it like she was... But she handled it well. She wanted to know whether... She wanted them to bring it up if it was a problem or not.
Because I'm guessing, like, in the house, you maybe aren't seeing it. You're too into it. You might not see the optics of it that an audience sees, and you're not getting every angle. So it may not have dawned on... I'm sure it dawned on them. But
It definitely dawned on the people it was happening to. But they were they did not really want to talk about it. They said, and quotes I've seen since then and in interviews, they're like, we don't really feel like there was a racial thing. They're like, we would say something if there was. It was really, I feel, just a matter of comfortableness. And people just automatically go with their comfort, even when they should probably try to actively not do that. They're trying to win a game, and they match up, and then they don't want to break out of this alliance, and it just turned into a bad optic.
Did you ever watch the Joe Schmo show?
Yes.
I remember Joe Millionaire.
No, this was the
It was
parody.
a spoof of like Joe Millionaire.
Okay.
Where everyone on the show was an actor except one guy. And he thought he was in like a Big Brother house. And things just got weirder and weirder. And like, he doesn't know what's happening. Yeah. He thinks he's going crazy. It was amazing. I don't even watch reality TV, but the spoof of it was genius. So the first season was amazing. Tuned back in for the second season. It might have been the second or third season. It wasn't as good, but it started with that exact thing. It was like a Bachelor type spoof. And there's only one, or Bachelorette or whatever. But there's like one man and one woman there who didn't know they were on a spoof show. And the first thing they did, like, we're having a first night elimination. You have to eliminate like 2 people. Go. It's like, oh, the drama's so hot. And he immediately goes, and he eliminated the 2 black women. And like, everyone's looking around like, what's happening? Like, as this was a problem like 10 years ago when that show was on, making fun of the show's inability to portray minorities in the right way and have them advance and win these kind of games. Like, I don't think there's some stat like how many seasons has The Bachelorette been on or whatever. And like, there hadn't been a female of color. Like, so this has been a problem for a long time, and we're still not solved it.
That's so funny. But that the alliance, the main alliance, has got like super cocky and ended up blindsiding some of their own people by who they voted out as the last person, which was Cliff Hogg, which is the older guy who's he's one of the people that doesn't fit in type, and there's which I was, the audience and myself usually lean towards liking those less, you don't like the jock group that's always the big alliance. You like these other quirky people, and you want them to band together, but they almost never do because they can't figure out they're not part of the big deal. But anyway, this one girl who's super annoying in the big alliance said, oh, this guy, Cliff's an engineer and he's going to be so good at competitions and have hand-eye coordination. Where she was getting this, no one knows. We're like, you're crazy. And turns out he's great. He gets in this competition against the 3 other people in Camp Comeback, and it's like one of those where you roll a ball and you got to balance the thing and get it to the other end. And he just does it like the master of all dexterity. It was unbelievable to watch this, fat old guy do this. It was great. And then he turned around and came back in and won the head of household competition, and now he gets to do something. And so it's really, the show's turning around. We've got a chance for some things to happen. The only problem is the twists they have are way too powerful and the wrong people have them. Anyway, what I will say is there's a guy named Tommy who is, I predict, will win the whole thing. And I mean, people are kind of on to him. They see that he's liked by everybody, but I just think he's got to ride through the first month with almost no resistance. And everybody likes him. Everybody recognizes how great he is, but they're probably not going to want to vote him out. And I think he'll probably win. But it's turning around. So I have high hopes for the season. We got to talk Yellowstone real fast, just because we did off there.
Two of the weirdest shows on TV came back at the same time. Yeah. Legion on FX and Yellowstone on Paramount. Two completely different shows, but both the most insane things you can watch.
Yeah. Yellowstone, it's the old Kevin Costner show. It's got some cows and roping and horses and that aesthetic. Rich cowboys is always cool, and I like that, but
it's a kind of a soap opera feel, land deals, and
everybody's gorgeous.
And, have people having affairs. It's a soap opera action drama,
a lot of
kind
fighting
of thing.
And things. But I was telling you, the most ridiculous character on TV is that plays Kevin Costner's daughter, who I thought laughed when she said a couple episodes ago that she was 35 and yada yada. I was like, you're not 35, you're 45.
Beth Dutton. That first season, you can't take your eyes off her. Every time she's on screen, something crazy's going to happen.
Taking a bath in the horse trough.
Getting in the horse trough, just causing crazy trouble. And this season, they've cranked it up even further.
Oh, yeah. She makes no sense. Every scene she's in, she's doing something that is absolutely insane and sticks out like a sore thumb from the rest of the show.
It is amazing.
She's stabbing Wes Bentley. I think he's going to have a freaking breakdown in real life just having to act with her. Anyway, it's crazy. You should watch it. And what's going on in Legion? I gave up
Legion,
on it.
this is the final season. You gave up on it? I would say, I think I've said this in season 1. I don't recommend this show. No. I'm not telling you should watch it. I don't have a clue what's going on. It's kind of amazing. It also makes no sense. Yeah. So
it's a balance there. It's how much of that you can put up with. I just couldn't.
So this is the creator behind Fargo. So I gave it a chance. I'll give it every chance. I'll watch every episode because I trust Noah Hawley to do something interesting. Every episode, the visuals are insane. They do stuff with the camera. They do stuff with the lighting and special effects. The music, they drop in music cues that are amazing. They do weird things with the sound effects. It's just a gorgeous show to watch. But at the end of the day, I don't know that it adds up to anything. But we're finally kind of wrapping things up. The end of season 2 rubbed some people the wrong way. They kind of pushed David, the main character, who is Legion from the X-Men comics, Professor X's son, with multiple personalities, has crazy god-level mutant powers. And they kind of pushed him to be the villain. Where we've had sympathy for him the whole series, that he's been... the Shadow King was in his head messing with him. He's been oppressed his whole life. He's been held down, and we're rooting for him. But someone with mental powers doesn't get his way, can just make you do things, make you think things, change your mind. And it's he's trying to take the easy way out of things. It's this is not heroic. And they're forcing you to not like this guy and push him into being a villain. And we just had an episode that was a flashback to him being born. So we got a young Charles Xavier and Gabrielle Haller from the comics. And the time on this show is messed up. Everything, they dress like they're from the 70s. Yeah, the technologies, old rotary phones. It's just gorgeous to look at. But it kept the World War II backstory from the comics, that his mom was in a concentration camp. So the timeline is messed up, but it's just it was interesting anyway. But had literally one of the creepiest things I've ever seen in my life. So his mother survives the concentration camp, meets Xavier in a mental institution because she's had nightmares her whole life. So they have the baby. Charles, again, doing things psychics can do. Did she fall in love with him? Is he messing with her mind? We never quite know. But she's having these weird visions, and he's trying to... Season 3 is all about time travel. I didn't specify that. So David's trying to go back before the Shadow King attached himself as a baby and change his whole course of his life because everything's been terrible for him. And the mother's having these weird visions because she knows something's going on, and David's trying to get back in time, so she's seeing like haunted visions of him from the future. So it's all weird. We hear the baby crying in the crib, and she comes up to it, and it's laying face down. You see the back of his head, and she picks it up and turns it over, and it's still the back of his head.
Whoa.
And she flips it over again, and it's like the baby has no face. And it was the creepiest thing I've ever seen on TV. I was just like, my skin crawled. It was so effectively done. But it was just a cool thing that happened. It didn't add up to anything, but this show's almost over, and I'm happy to have watched it, but I don't know that I'll ever go back and watch it again. It's just a good experience to have. And no real ties to the X-Men universe.
Aubrey Plaza's still in there?
Yes.
That's why I stayed as long as I did.
Yeah, she's very good. And some trailers. Comic-Con trailer. Actually, before Comic-Con, we had a trailer for the Terror: Infamy. Did anyone ever go back and watch Terror from AMC? Mm-mm. This was the British ships lost in the Arctic trying to find a way to circumnavigate. So it's an anthology, so we're not going back to those same characters. Season 2, it's going to be 10 episodes, starts Monday, August 12th at 9. This one's set in Japanese internment camps during World War II. So it's a monster out of Japanese mythology. George Takei has a role in the show, which famously was interned in one of these camps as a child. The main actor is named Derek Mio. And I even saw a clip of C. Thomas Howell on this show, and I love me some C. Thomas Howell. So I'm excited to get a little C. Thomas Howell. But yeah, I went back and watched it. My brother Jared, it was his favorite show of that year, so it was really well done. I liked it a lot. So and this one I think I'll like even more because the British naval. I'm not that kind of history stuff isn't my bag, but I don't know. This seems timely. Yeah. We got a Watchmen trailer just dropped today as we're recording. Mm-hmm. We'd had a few little clips and teases, but this was a pretty long trailer.
Yeah, this is the most we've seen so far.
I'm still not sure I know what in the world is happening.
No, but it looked pretty good.
Yeah, look good. It's got Regina King.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch it.
Kevin Costner.
Don Johnson.
That's
what you mean.
Yeah,
flying the owl ship, wasn't he?
Yeah, it looked like it.
What's
and Dr. Manhattan is back.
Archie the owl ship.
Yes, that's it. Anyway, yeah, it looks. I'm in.
It's so weird. Like it's. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just weird. Like, and that's fine. I said we don't need another adaptation.
No, a new interpretation.
But yeah, the plot seemed to be the cops are being, the cops are in danger, so the cops start wearing masks to protect their identity. Mm-hmm. So it's basically like a uniformed vigilante squad, it seems like. And that, I don't think would go so well. So.
Do either of you guys watch Baskets? Have you ever watched Baskets?
I've seen a little bit of it, but I know it's really good. And Louis Anderson Galifianakis.
Still, I can't believe the show's still on, first off. But Zach Galifianakis playing twin brothers Chip and Dale Baskets. Chip Baskets. And the mom is played by Louis Anderson. And, you forget that it's a guy. He plays this old lady so well. And it's not the greatest thing in the world, but I can't stop watching.
There's something there. Yeah.
I will watch that to the end. It's so funny. Anyway.
And then we had a Westworld trailer for season 3.
Sure did.
Which we had a teaser, at the end of Game of Thrones, we had a teaser focusing on Aaron Paul's character, which didn't reveal a lot. This one didn't reveal too much. Mm-hmm. I still don't know. I can't tell you what's...
No, it looked awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Just a lot
you can watch
cool,
the show and not know what's going on.
And I have, a lot of cool visuals, a lot of cool, that guy's back. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Which a good trailer should do. Just get you excited and not reveal too much.
Hyped.
So
2020.
Are we Westworld in that sucker? Or are we going episode by episode, tearing into it?
We didn't last time.
Didn't we?
No.
Yeah, we waited till the end. Remember, because you got caught up and we didn't tell him.
Oh yeah, we like surprised you.
Yeah, he didn't know.
Let's do that again. Let's surprise everyone.
You don't know.
All right, that's all I got for TV.
Yep, me too.
Streaming.
There's something very important I forgot to tell you.
What?
Don't cross the streams.
Islands in the stream, that is what we are.
Cross the streams.
Comedians, Cars Getting Coffee just came out in the last few days. I watched the first episode with Eddie Murphy.
I watched the first episode today.
These are all new interviews?
Yeah. All new stuff. I don't know how many episodes there are, but he was talking to Eddie Murphy, and they were just loved each other.
I thought it was a long episode.
Yeah, it's 40 minutes or so.
Did he put a banana in Jerry Seinfeld's temper?
Somebody stole your battery. No, but he was like talking about. They did a lot of talking about how he hadn't done stand-up in forever, and we heard the other day that there's some talks of him doing stand-up for Netflix. So Eddie Murphy may be coming back doing some stand-up, but it was just neat to see these two guys talk. That's what the show is, but to see these two great comedians that
pretty much started out the same time in the same place.
They
were both
at a Chinese restaurant lounge, played the same night. He still had like the flyer, and both their names were spelt wrong. It was just like so funny that where they came from, and it's good. I like comedians, so I like hearing all these stories and hearing them banter and say funny things because they're funny people. So I'm looking forward to watching all that.
If this is the episode about complicated race relations, I could tell you all about When They See Us.
Yeah.
The Netflix show is about the Central Park 5.
Right.
True story from early 90s, late 80s.
I don't remember when
I watched it. You guys didn't, so I should probably know. But yeah, this dropped, and a lot of people were talking about it. So we're a little late on it. Sorry, we didn't cover it right when it was timely. But created, co-written, and directed by Ava DuVernay, the director of Selma, Wrinkle in Time. So very acclaimed director behind this. Executive produced by her, Oprah Winfrey, and Robert De Niro. So ton of star power. Everyone in this was nominated for an Emmy this year, so if you're gonna pay attention to the Emmys, you should probably watch it before the Emmy noms. The kids were terrific. It plays, you see them as young men when the crime happens, and it kind of tracks the court case, and then you see what some time in prison is like, and you get them as adults later trying to adjust to life on the outside. So each character is played by two different actors, a young actor and an adult actor, and.
How is it? Several episodes, or is it?
It's been a while. Is it 3 episodes? They're like an hour or more than an hour.
Yeah,
like the last episode's like an hour and a half.
I was going to watch it. Yeah,
I think it's 3, but it's been a while since I watched it. But kid actors sometimes, but every one of these kids was amazing. They're just terrific performances, just some gut wrenching stuff, and. It's hard to watch in places, but it's a true story. It's we're still dealing with this stuff in America today. It does, Donald Trump famously weighed in on this. He took a full-page ad out in the paper calling for these kids to get the death penalty, and it talks, I thought, a little too much about Trump because I don't know that he had that big of an impact back then. It would have just been Trump said something. But they're like, I can't believe Donald Trump said this. It's like no one cared what Donald Trump said back then. But it seems like kind of revisionist history a little bit to place more importance on his words. But
it's just like, he was important. A racist piece back then too.
Linda Fairstein, she's the Manhattan prosecutor who you will immediately hate. This first movie, she's played by Felicity Huffman. And she came out.
We're already supposed to hate her.
Right, yeah.
Right?
So
yeah.
she's
she's canceled too.
She slammed it as, quote, so full of distortions and falsehoods as to be an outright fabrication. So the villain of the movie didn't like how she was portrayed as being very villainy, so she said it wasn't true. So there's a little bit of, I think, it was a Black Klansman I was talking about, where my critique was that everyone was so racist.
It was cartoonish.
That there wasn't that feeling of connection, because no one's like, well, I'm that racist. So like when the cops are so over the top racist,
right,
you don't see it in yourself and like, wow, have I ever done or said something like that?
It's more the subtle things that people might be, hey, I say that, am I? Right.
And they portray the kids as, he was just going to band practice, he was carrying a trumpet or whatever, like, and because that is the first thing that happens in current times, sadly enough, when a young person is maybe shot by the police or whatever, it'll come out, oh, he had a criminal record, or he was shoplifting, or he did that, and it's like, that shouldn't matter, you shouldn't be gunned down in the street, but that's a way to do that. So I thought if they had portrayed these kids as a little less than angelic, you could make that argument again of like, this doesn't matter, they could be terrible kids, they don't deserve what happened to them. So there was a little bit of, it seemed like a little revisionist history just to make things cleaner, to make it good versus evil, that maybe could have been gridded up a little bit, but we just, it's an important conversation we're still having, and it was an excellent series, if difficult to watch in places, especially the prison scenes. And it's not the typical kind of prison movie, but it's just what isolation does to you, and what no hope, and what you're just cut off from the world. And then when you get out, felons can't get jobs. Felons can't, they couldn't connect with each other because felons aren't allowed to hang out with each other. So like these 5 kids who shared this life-changing experience couldn't get together and talk about it. And like, so what do? You can't get a job. You can't get a place to live. Like, you're still in prison. So good stuff. if you feel like feeling bad, give it a watch.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever see 6 Feet Under? HBO show was like, it was one of the first big HBO dramas that was a big hit. A lot of people binged it over the last several years. It's known for having one of the best endings. Like, people say that's so many times.
Never seen an episode, but I know how it ends. Yeah.
I don't know how it ends, but all I've ever heard is it's got one of these great endings.
Yo, you'll love it. Trust me.
I can't wait. Great. Well, the least I can do is watch it. So I plan on. I've watched almost 2 seasons now. I don't love it though. Like, I think there's 5 or 6 seasons, and it's like, I just want to watch it so I can see what this great ending is. All I know is it better be great, because the show drags a little for me. So I don't know if it's going to be worth it. I was curious if anybody, I was hoping somebody'd say, yeah, it's worth it. All right, let's get to it here.
Yeah.
What's the meat here?
The meat is Stranger Things Season 3.
We're not kids anymore. I mean, what did you think? We're just gonna sit in my basement all day? Play games for the rest of our lives?
It is important to me that you feel safe. I want you to feel like this can still be your home.
I never did talk about that yet. So.
Come out on July 4th on Netflix.
And we are going to talk specific plot points, so we will spoil it. This is the last thing we talk about, so if you haven't seen it yet,
that's weird.
Bookmark it, come back later. Thanks for tuning in previously. But if you have seen it or are curious about it, we're going to ruin...
We're going to ruin it for you.
We're going to ruin everything about it. So normally a Halloween show.
Yeah, they took a different
it's
approach.
Always in the fall. This time the kids are out of school or in the July. They're aging in real time.
Yeah, very quickly.
Just think how old they're going to look next time.
Which I saw an interesting theory that a year or so from now is 1986, which is right around the time Chernobyl happened.
Yeah.
So that might tie into strange
Russia.
dealings in Russia.
Makes sense.
A cover
Did you
up.
guys watch? Did you watch Chernobyl? You have HBO.
My wife watched it. I have not seen
It
all
is getting rave reviews,
and it's really good.
I watched the first
is,
episode, and then I haven't renewed my HBO.
It's terrifying.
It's pretty. It was pretty dark. Like I was just like, ugh.
Yeah, it's really good.
Anyway, yeah, I could totally see that happening. Tying that together.
Fan theory. No, that's nothing official.
That makes sense, though. It makes sense.
Yeah, so in the summer of '85, Hawkins, Indiana, the new Starcourt Mall has become the focal point of the town, driving other stores out of business. Sheriff Jim Hopper is back. He's conflicted over Eleven and Mike's budding relationship. 3 inches. While Joyce considers moving out of Hawkins.
Poor Mike.
for better prospects, leaving the state of the children's friendships and her own relationship with Hopper in the air.
Did you write all this?
No,
we put something else.
Strange fluctuations trigger Will's awareness.
He's not doing his NPR voice, so I thought maybe it was a Cliff original.
Yeah, of something otherworldly, and 11 and Max sense something is off about the town's residents, despite already having closed the portal in season 2. There you go.
All right, so we like this show, right?
I love this show.
Season 1, we adored.
The show. Yeah,
we were excited about season 2. We're still excited about season 3. So we were really looking forward to this, right?
Yes,
right.
I liked the first season. I liked the second season.
Not so much this season.
No, I mean, I just don't want to. I'm not going to say I loved either of those seasons. So I'll reserve. I mean, am I supposed to say now? I liked this season.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't love any of the seasons. I liked all 3.
I could have done with a few more episodes of the season. Been okay. I thought it was too short.
I remember the message I sent you guys. It was like, I want this to be over so bad, and it was just because I was binging it. I was like, it gets monotonous.
I watched it faster than I normally watch stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see both ways. Like, I wanted more because it seemed like we weren't at, like, we were only at a couple locations.
Yeah,
and like the first episode, I thought my only hope for this is that Steve wears that uniform all 8 episodes. That's all I was like. I hope he never changes out of that, and he didn't, and it was great. But like, yeah, it was very contained. It was very short in time.
Yeah, yeah, and we have pretty much through most of the story, we have specific groups. So you have the Scoops Troop. We've got Steve and Dustin and Erica, which is Lucas's little sister who has an expanded role, and then what's the name? Robin.
Maya Hawke.
I was gonna say the Hawk Girl.
Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman's daughter.
And I didn't know that till like the 7th episode. So I watched almost the whole series. And I was like, oh, okay.
She was very good. She acts. She's a better actor than any of those kids.
And I thought, like, I didn't like her character. Like, she was good, but I thought, okay, this is going to be the
typical
love interest.
Yeah.
He's going to win. Oh, he's a douche, but he's going to win her over. Da, da, da. And that didn't happen. And I thought, wow, and she gets a good moment there at the end to be a different kind of character that I like.
Yeah, and then we had.
I did not like Erica.
You can't spell America without Erica.
You didn't like Erica.
And again, I remember conversations that we have in this room, and I know at least one of us said, "Boy, I wish Erica got more screen time." And I thought, "Oh, what have we done?" She was nails on a chalkboard to me. Like, she was so funny last season, and like every minute she was on screen, I was like, "Shut up! Stop talking! You're terrible."
And then we had most of the kids with Mike and Lucas and Will.
He's marking off all of his Erica praise.
Ahoy, all hands on deck. Ahoy. Come on, Adam.
Just get my pen here.
Tell me if I'm wrong, but I just
she was. I don't know. She wasn't integral to the story.
Yeah, it just felt like
people loved her last season, so let's give him more of sassy Erica.
Yeah.
And then 11 and Max, along with the other boys, and then you had Joyce and Hopper. This was Hopper's story. This was all about him and his awesome Magnum PI shirt.
Starting out watching Magnum and
yeah,
that was a great intro.
It's cutting edge fashion. But the Hopper and Joyce team up with a Russian and then the reporter that from the last I can't think of his name at the moment, from the last season 2. Murray, yeah.
Brett Gelman.
Yeah.
Had the freaking Terminator after him.
Yeah. It's just when you think it can't get any more 80s, we get a guy that looks like the Terminator, and he's Russian because it's always the Russians.
I thought that's kind of silly, but what better villains are there? Yeah.
So there's happenings in Hawkins with the Russians have a secret base underneath the mall.
I didn't get any that was happening. I don't care. I'm not.
Yeah.
To me, that felt like
it's like okay.
Whatever. I felt like that was. I felt the whole point of that. They created that whole thing around this Facebook thing. The Facebook of the '80s was the mall, and the Russians are underneath it all, messing with us. It was exactly like their Facebook metaphor. I was like, this thing felt really obvious to me. I was like, it doesn't make any sense, but they're just going for that.
Well, a lot of stuff in the 80s.
And besides the visual of the mall was,
it's
all about nostalgia on that show.
Right.
Yeah, and they had a great set, and it's like they spent so much time there. I'm glad it was such a neat looking set because the whole show took place at the mall, basically.
Yeah. So Steve is working at an ice cream store.
Ice cream scooper Steve.
Yeah, a great line where Dustin comes back and Robin says, "How many children are you friends with?" So
where I can't remember. I know you hated Nancy. What was your favorite on Steve?
I thought you loved Nancy.
No, he hated Nancy.
You love Nancy.
I like Nancy.
I could not stand Nancy or Steve in season 1 or 2.
Yeah, you did not like Steve
because
either.
it was all their fault.
You never got over Barb.
I never got over Barb. Nancy and her stupidity got Barb killed.
Yeah. Well, now it's Susie's fault. We can blame her for everything.
Right. But this was actually the first season where I liked Nancy, and
that was such a dumb storyline.
Steve somewhat
that didn't pay off in the end. I have a real problem with this.
It didn't pay off in the end.
Right.
Story,
what was the point of Nancy's story?
Investigating stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The point, she's a freaking supposed to be a journalist that goes to this place, and it's like this total just cookie cutter, don't pay attention to the girl, yada yada, chauvinist thing.
They all got killed, so she wins.
Yeah.
But the whole point, I thought, because at the end, isn't it all written up? Isn't at the end they were wrote about this or something? What? I forget exactly how it ended, but it didn't. There was a report about it or something, right? What am I remembering?
Yeah, I don't know if there was any payoff to her journalism.
Right. No. Sure should have been. Yeah. I thought whatever was written should have been written by her. Yeah. That would have been the whole point of her story.
Although I very much like there was a scene between her and boyfriend Will's brother Jonathan. They have an okay relationship. They got a small town thing of they wouldn't normally get together, but and that thing of her trying to explain, me being a woman at this place is terrible, and he doesn't get it. He doesn't see the way she's being treated. But she also doesn't see the way he's being treated as lower class, has no money. They sort of word privilege out there. They don't recognize each other's privilege, and that was a really smart scene of the grass is always greener kind of thing. It's like, well, I'm having it really terrible. It's like, well, so am I. And they're not communicating to each other. It's just they're trying to out-sad each other.
Yeah. So basically we get a big part of the story is Mike and 11 are boyfriend-girlfriend, and Mike is spending a lot of time over at Hopper's cabin, and Hopper, being the adoptive dad now, we see how she's filled that void in his life, but he's having issues. She's got a boyfriend. What are they doing? They're spending all this time together, and he really starts to develop a disdain for Mike.
Probably deserved.
Right, probably mostly deserved. And because Mike's kind of a pompous ass this year. He just is. And yeah, we have to go on separate missions, roughly to learn more about the monster this year, which is made out of melted people that Billy is gathering.
Oh, Billy. You guys hated Billy too, didn't you?
Yeah, Billy sucks.
Oh, Billy's the best.
Jared liked Billy, as I remember.
Billy is the dirtbaggiest dirtbag ever.
And then the other group is off to... They're trying to discover what's going on with the Russians. And they get not Mike. The Scoops troop infiltrates the Russian base, and Robin and... What's the guy's name? It's really late at night. Steve get captured, interrogated, and Dustin and Erica have to break them out, discover what they're doing, trying to open up the portal again.
Which is all very silly, of like this highly guarded... It's like Scooby-Doo. They're like, sneak past the guard.
It was like Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. So it was like, how? Okay, whatever. It's fun.
Yeah, that's what it was to me. The whole thing was just good 80s fun to me. I would have, thought this was iconic as a child.
But another part of our conversation I remember is us talking about how authentic it felt 80s wise, like looking around their bedrooms and stuff, where it wasn't the Goldbergs, where it's like, what, Ghostbusters? Like the whole plot would be around some very obvious 80s reference, where this felt so authentically lived in 80s, like the way the plates they use or the Tupperware, like it was all so. And this, it feels like there's less of that. Like it feels like the new Coke thing. Mm-hmm. It's like, we're enjoying new. Like, what was that scene?
Yeah,
it stopped.
It was
everything.
Something for that kid to do.
It was weird. It was. It took me out of the whole show. Like, what is happening right now? He's doing an ad for new Coke.
Yeah,
but yeah, it seemed there was a little bit less authentication or something. I don't know. It is late. I very much the music. Yeah, again, it's like music cue after music. Like, I don't know what their budget was for music, but it was every episode had, you could do a soundtrack for every single episode. But I like the stretching roles of these characters. Like Elle and Max has a great relationship.
Yeah.
It was neat when they introduced Max last year, have more female presence on the show, but she was still kind of like the guy's obsession. Oh, she skateboards and plays video games. What a perfect girl. She was not her own sort of girl character. This season allowed them to be girls and go to the mall and do a makeover, and like it was fun. But it's still, every conversation was about Mike and what a jerk he was as a boyfriend. Like, I don't think it passed the Bechdel test, even having all these female characters, because everything was talking about the boys still.
That was the one thing I noticed this year, was how the kids talk to each other didn't feel very 80s at times. So
yeah, they're getting older.
It had some great lines, but just how they interacted, I thought, I don't know if that was very exact on how kids interacted back then. Of course, 11 had that great line of,
"I dump your ass."
play D&D? No.
So, cracked me up.
I like the stuff they let Winona Ryder do. You know, these first couple seasons, she was just mom, just grieving mom, scared mom, worried mom, and like now she gets to do more. She's her own person in this one, and that's nice. But I've seen a couple things written about Hopper. This was either love him or hate him this year for Hopper. Some people really like he just yelled at everyone and like shot a bunch of people without provocation. It just like he was just on edge the whole season, and like there are people who really didn't like that, and there are people like that's Hopper, he's cool, whatever. So I don't know what you.
No, I liked Hopper a lot actually, because I could relate to some of that dad stuff. You know, he doesn't know what he's doing, and especially being a single dad trying to raise a teenage daughter now. And he doesn't know how to react or what the proper thing.
But he gets stood up for a date with the world hanging in the balance, and just like he's mean to Winona the whole rest of the series. It's like, and they also telegraphed his end pretty hard. Let's set a date for a future date. It's like, don't do that. One of you's not coming back. Come on.
Yeah, but I liked, as predictable as it was, the letter at the end that 11 finds and reads. I thought that was very sweet.
That hit pretty hard for me.
Like, just end it right there. That's a great end to that character and their relationship, and now they're gonna move on to another town. Yeah.
You said that's a great end to him?
I said it would have been.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, would have been a great end.
I was gonna say,
that's where I would have been.
They pretty much killed out at the end.
Yeah, I would have ended it right there and just left it right there as, remember him at his best, not at a Russian jail or whatever they have planned.
Right.
So, so there is an after credit scene. We see a new Demogorgon in Russia. They have one they've been feeding people to, and which led into the upcoming season 5. I'm hearing they're possibly going to start 4, yeah. And I thought they were going to do 5 seasons, but now people are saying maybe one more and they're done. But could possibly start filming as early as fall, so pretty quickly here. They want to try to get ahead of the kids aging as much as they can.
Something I read, no idea where this came from, but that there was a possibility maybe David Harbour couldn't come back for the next season. It was like scheduling conflicts, so like they might have left it a little open. Like if he doesn't come back, that's fine. Or we now have an outlet to bring him back. That could again just be people talking out of their butts. But
yeah, if nothing else, we got Dustin singing the theme to Neverending Story, which you guys may not have liked. I loved it.
Talk about divisive moments.
The Never-Ending Story was the one movie other than Star Wars that I loved to rent over and over and over as a small child. I could not get enough of that movie. I knew it backwards and forwards, and I was able to avoid spoilers. I did not know that was going to happen, and it was glorious. And here I am a week later, still trying to get it out of my head.
Well, by all means, go ahead and earworm us like you're dying to.
No, it's all right. We can put it in later. Or we can play it.
I'm ready for it. Have you done the Never-Ending Challenge?
Look at what you see.
What's that?
I think it's Millie Bobby Brown started it, like playing that music and then doing a silly dance she made up. And I saw the woman who played the princess in the original movie. Her and her daughters did it, and it was adorable.
Very cute. Yeah. And Jimmy Fallon did it with Stephen Colbert.
Oh,
they crossed over late night shows. It was great.
Yeah, I love that movie too. Even I think we had it on tape, and it was one of those ones. I acted like I didn't like it. It's like, that's a stupid movie. I'm sick of watching it. I should probably watch it again. I don't know. I thought I was too cool for it, but it was a very important part of my childhood. But again, that scene, as much as I want to love it, the scene didn't work for me. It ground everything to a halt. This was really a tense moment, the world hanging in the balance. It's like, Susie, we got more important things, darling. We gotta go. But as a scene, like just taking it out of context, it's fun to watch it as like a YouTube clip.
I loved it. Just loved it. So yeah. I
and the minute and a half that took, Hopper and Joyce could have very easily turned those keys, saved the day, and he'd still be alive, not in Russian prison.
Yeah, it wasn't perfect.
Susie
wasn't perfect in any way, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. Every bit, all 8 episodes. I thought it was a nice continuation from season 2, and they didn't know what to try and recreate with these kids what they had before. We're growing and moving, and we have new relationships, and somebody's finally smart enough to get the hell out of Hawkins. So.
Yeah, that's what I thought, is that this show, it could last for 20 seasons, and it will never be that first season.
No.
That first season, if you remember how iconic those scenes were, like the logo, the Stranger Things logo, everyone was turning their profile pictures, they're putting their names as the logo, like that logo was everywhere. It was instantly iconic. Elle and her little outfit with the socks, bald head, the Eggos, you immediately, cosplayers were doing that.
They still
immediately.
Are. Yeah.
The lights on the wall, the Christmas lights. That that was parodied, and like that was immediately an iconic like horror moment in pop culture. Dustin's hat, the red, white, and blue hat, you saw that everywhere. Like even the look of the upside down and the weird looking face of the like everything was new and fresh and like instantly timeless and iconic, and then it'll never live up to that. So just I enjoyed this season.
Yeah, I don't think, I guess I didn't expect it to be as good as 1 and 2. I just didn't. It's been like a little while since season 2, and I just went with it, I guess.
And I like the characters well enough. I'll keep coming back whatever they do next. But there's my expectations, I think, are fairly realistic from what's going to happen. So, we do nothing but complain about it. We only tell you the stuff we didn't like, but we generally overall enjoyed it.
Yes. That's it.
Good enough.
Good enough. Good enough. So if you haven't already, hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, leave a review, all that good stuff. Send us an email. Let us know what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, and that's all I've got.
Yeah, so we've had a lot of news here coming out of Comic-Con, so I'm sure didn't cover a tenth of what's out there, but we're still going to take a little break next week, come back with a fun episode. You're not going to want to miss next week. Something we haven't done in a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
What if I said the word bracket? A little teaser.
I'm listening.
A little teaser. We're doing a bracket, everybody. We're going to debate, and it's going to be fun. So please come back, and thank you once again. My name's Jordan Lowe.
Cliff Barnes.
I'm sad. Bye forever.
Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast, is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Sounds, music, and clips played during the podcast are property of copyright holders. All original content is property of www.udownwithkpp.com.
Jimmy, show's in 2 minutes.
Be right there. Steven, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Jimmy. I'm just trying on a new bandana. Tell you what, let's change frequencies. The writers listen to this one. That's better. What's up?
Hey, I just want to wish you good luck this week. I know we're both back with new shows, so good luck.
Oh, thanks, Jimmy. Hey, man. Do you want to do that thing?
Right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Turn around and look at what you see. In her face, the mirror of your dreams. Make believe I'm everywhere, giving in the light. Written on the pages is the answer to a never-ending story.
Hey, you're doing the thing from Stranger Things.
What?
The thing from Stranger Things, the Stranger Things thing. Love that thing.
Why was he talking about Stranger Things?
I don't know. Never seen it.
Never-ending
story.
We can't play toys right now, Michael. We have to do a podcast.
So let's, okay, we're talking about toys here. I have a question for you guys. Going back to the 80s, or even if you want to do 90s, what were your top, let's say top 5 franchises that you had as a kid? Well, I know Michael's had to be Transformers #1.
Yeah.
Going back to our grandmother, that was my favorite toy in my memory was the Optimus Prime. It was some kind of ultra vehicle mode where he combined with his trailer to become like the ultimate Optimus Prime. And I had that toy forever. I can actually even remember like when I was older, when I should not have been playing with toys. And I spray painted Optimus Prime like the silver. I had silver spray paint to go along with the Transformer cartoon where he came back to life, and he had like a special. I think it was gold.
You were customizing toys back then.
Yes, before that was even a thing. So yeah, definitely had to be Transformers for me.
I had a lot of the He-Man toys.
Yes, you did. I feel a little disdain in my voice, like every time we bring up toys, because Cliff always had more toys than me.
It's bringing back old jealousies.
But I will say, on a really funny note, when we did live down in Florida, I was in first grade. I had, for one birthday, I got the kid car from Knight Rider, and it came with a Michael Knight figure. And here's the funny part about it was I was out in our yard digging, because I think we lived in a trailer park at that time, and I uncovered another Michael Knight figure in the dirt. True story. So that became the evil Michael Knight. I'm not lying here.
That was like you from the future buried it, like so you as a kid would find it.
Come along.
I'd say my favorites was probably G.I. Joe, He-Man.
Did you have any of the Thundercats?
I did have some Thundercats. I never had the full set. Like,
yeah, they were kind of hard to come by around in this area, I think.
When Thundercats were out, I lived in South Point. Obviously, as you can tell, I moved around a lot as a kid. But we lived in South Point, Ohio, when Thundercats and Silverhawks were out. And I loved Silverhawks. Another toy that Mr. Cliff had. He had the freaking big giant Silverhawk the ship that he didn't even like. And I was like, oh. But actually I can remember, maybe we were just poor growing up, because I can remember building all the Thundercat weapons out of like paper and cardboard. And that's where all my creativity came from, because I didn't get all the cool toys, so I had to create it myself.
Digging in the dirt.
I had to find for more toys. I had to dig up every toy I have owned.
But I do remember like taking like a notebook of paper, like creating weapons and all kinds of fun stuff.